everybody, and welcome back to Lindsay's Little Library. So today I'm here because we're almost to the month of July. We're almost there. We won't talk about how crazy it is and how fast summer's going. We're not acknowledging that today. We're gonna ignore it. But anyways, I wanted to come on here and talk about some new releases coming out in July that I'm super excited about. By no means is this an extensive list. This is just the books that I found that, you know, came across to me as something that I would love to pick up. So here we go. Okay, I don't even know how many I have. There's a list. July's a good month, I guess. First one I want to talk about comes out, or these first few come out July 5th. First one is The Finalists by David Bell. I've seen this pop up in a couple of different places and it just has me really intrigued. So, beautiful spring day, 6 college students with nothing in common besides their inability to pay for school are looking for an option to go and get an education. So they gather together to compete for the prestigious Hyde Fellowship. So if Milo is the front runner, Natalia is the brains, James is the rule follower, Sydney's the athlete, Duffy's the cowboy, and Emily's the social justice warrior. The 6 of them must surrender their devices when they enter the Hyde House. This sounds like Big Brother-ish to me. It's an aging Victorian structure that sits on a secluded part of campus, so you're kind of off the beaten trail. And once you're inside, the door's locked behind them, and they are not allowed to leave until they spend 8 hours with the college administrator, who will do almost anything to keep the school afloat. And Nicholas Hyde is the privileged and notoriously irresponsible heir to the Hyde family fortune. If the students leave before the time is up, they'll be immediately disqualified. So he just sounds like a great time. But when one of the 6 finalists drops dead, the other students feel that they're being picked off one by one. With a violent protest raging outside, no way to escape, the survivors viciously turn on each other. So they don't group up together, they turn on each other. Sounds intriguing. Not quite isolated, but somewhat isolated, right? Anyways, next one I have is The Displacements by Bruce Hulsinger, also coming out July 5th. So this one, the cover didn't totally grab me, but it was more the story. So we have the Larson Hall family. They seem to have everything. Children are fantastic, healthy, stable marriage, lucrative career that the father Brantley does. Daphne pursues her art full time. I mean, they have it all. Living their best life in Miami until Luna, a Category 6 hurricane, hits and everything that they've had taken for granted is taken away from them. It triggers a descent of another sort when the hurricane hits the shores. Their home's destroyed, 2 of its members are missing, and finances abruptly cut off. The family finds everything they assumed about their lives now up for grabs. Swept into a mass rush of evacuees from across the American South, they're transported hundreds of miles to a FEMA mega shelter where the new community inside includes insurance agents turned drug dealers, a group of vulnerable children, and a dedicated relief worker trying to keep peace. Will normal ever return? Sounds family drama like on steroids, like totally taking them out of their comfort zone and what they know and how now are they going to survive. So I'm super interested in that one. So next one I want to talk about is Reputation by Sarah Vaughn, comes out July 5th. This is a political based story. That's the main premise of it. So we have Emma. So I love it that she's a female politician, but she's had to sacrifice everything for her career, her marriage, her daughter, pretty much everything. She's a former teacher. The glare of the spotlight is really unnerving for her, particularly when it leads to countless insults, threats, and trolls, which unfortunately happens even at local levels. It's crazy. For someone who was working in the public eye. So as a woman, she knows her reputation is worth its weight in gold, but as a politician, she discovers it only takes one slip up to destroy it completely. So then we have her daughter, Floral, who's 14. She's also learning the same hard lessons at school as she encounters heartless bullying. When another teenager takes her own life, Emma lobbies for a new law to protect women and girls from the effects of online abuse. Now Emma and Flora find their personal lives uncomfortably intersected, and then the unthinkable happens. A man is found dead in Emma's house. a man she had every reason to be afraid of and to want gone. Fighting to protect her reputation and determined to protect her family, Emma is pushed to limits as the worst happens and her life is torn apart. So, very intriguing. Gives me Madam Secretary vibes, sort of, if you've ever watched that. Next one I want to talk about, A Beginner's Guide to Murder. I know all of these have like themes so far. Anyways, Beginner's Guide to Murder by Rosalind Stopps. This is also July 5th. These are 3 women in their 70s who set out to save a girl, right? So we have Grace, Meg, and Daphne. They are all in their 70s, minding their own business, enjoying their cup of coffee, having time with each other. Fantastic. And they're in a cafe and a 17-year-old stumbles in, very distraught, obviously running away, definitely needed of help. So they think nothing of hiding her from this suspicious looking man that comes in looking for her. Once they're alone, Nina tells the 3 women what she's running from, and the need to protect her is it's instilled in them. They have to do it. So they take her under her wing, but how are they going to protect her? How are they going to keep her safe? There's really only one way. The answer is murder. So begins the tale of 3 most unlikely murders in the making and what they will go through to protect anyone who underestimates them. So it sounds like it might be a little cheeky, a little funny, a little enjoyable. I'm in for it. All right, moving on to July 12th release date. First one I want to talk about is I Told You This Would Happen by Elaine Murphy. So we have Carrie's sister is dead. 4 months after losing her sister Becca, a serial killer unknown to everyone else in her town. So the sister Becca's dead. She's the serial killer. Carrie is finally free of her manipulative crutches, which I thought was super interesting. From now on, she's keeping her hands clean, no more hiding dead bodies in the middle of the night, and no more lies. So obviously she was helping her sister. And she's never been happier. Things are great. Then she attends a meeting of the Brampton Kill Seekers, a group of amateur local sleuths, and learns that a recent victim left behind a note that incriminates her in their disappearance. All of a sudden, the quiet, law-abiding life she's been planning starts to unravel, and she's never had so much to lose. In her frantic quest to keep her secret dead and buried, she discovers someone is lurking in the shadows, someone who will go to any lengths to bring her dark truths to light. And now if Carrie wants her secrets to stay hidden, she'll have to get her hands very, very dirty. So does she turn into the sister? Does she not? What? I like it. And then, next one I want to talk about, A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin, also coming out July 12th. So this is a debut, the debut book for Sophie. So we have Kitty Talbot Needs a Fortune. And this is historical fiction, I should preface that. Rather, she needs a husband that has a fortune. Her father has passed away, left her with massive debts she can't get out of, and she has 12 weeks to save her family from ruin. So, never been one to back down from a challenge, she decides to leave home and she heads towards the most dangerous battleground in all of England, the London season. Kitty may be neither accomplished nor especially genteel. She sounds a little rough around the edges, kind of liking her, but she's single-mindedly determined. She is cunning, she is brilliant, and she knows that the risk is just part of the game to do this. The only thing she doesn't anticipate is, of course, Lord Radcliffe. The worldly Lord Radcliffe sees Kitty for the mercenary fortune hunter that she really is, and is determined to kill her plans at any cost until the pairing takes a completely different turn. I'm assuming they hook up. I'm assuming things are going to go from there. It just sounds fun. Next one I have is Fire Season. Really interested in this one by Lena Crow, again out July 12th. So this one brings together 3 opportunists. We have a banker, a common, and a woman with an extraordinary gift and their lives collide in the wake of a devastating fire in the American West. Again, historical fiction, takes place in the late 1800s. So we have Spokane Falls. There's been a fire there that has destroyed the frontier boom town, and it looks like no other. It's not good. Unfortunately, Barton Haydale sees this as an opportunity. He's the bank manager at the only bank in Spokane Falls, and is on the verge of ending his short, unpopular life. But when his city goes up in flames, he sees an ember of hope shimmering on the horizon, headed right towards him. As citizens flock to the bank to cash out on their insurance policies and take out loans, he realizes he can command the power he craves, and it's not by following rules. Here is his reason to live, right? But when Quake, a career con man hired to investigate the cause of the fire, arrives in Spokane Falls, he employs his usual shady tactics, but this time with the Washington Territory vying for statehood, the sudden attention to the due process jeopardizes his methods of manipulation, so he's being really kept under a microscope. Then we have Rosalind Beck, whose uncanny ability to see the future, love it, has long driven her to drink. Nah, I don't blame her. And with whom both Barton and Quake have fallen madly and dangerously in love with her. Staying in a love triangle, this is fantastic. She's known as a certain kind of woman in possession of unique talents and influence, if only she could find the right way to wield them. As their paths collide and diverge and collide again, they come to terms with their own needs of power, greed, and control, leading one to total ruin, one to heartbreak, and one ultimately to redemption. I am in. All right, next one comes out July 12th. The Woman in the Woods by Lisa Hall. She's out there waiting for you. It is about witchcraft and superstition. I'm in. I feel like this would be a good October read. So we have Allie. She moves to a quaint old cottage with her husband. It's their dream house, nestled in a little village. Perfect haven to raise their 2 children. But this town, Pluckley, has a reputation. It's known as England's most haunted village. Kind of want to go visit there. And not long after the birth of their new son, Allie begins to notice really strange things happening. What's the flash of white she sees moving quickly through the woods at the back of her house? And what's the strange scratching noise coming from the chimney? And that's all I have to read, and I am in, and I want it all. It's gonna be great. Creepy unease and nerve-wracking tension will have readers on the edge of their seats. Dun, dun, dun. Love it. All right, July 19th. Gonna be a great day too. The Retreat, super excited for this one, by Sarah Pierce. They couldn't wait to stay here, yet I think they're going to regret it. So we have an idyllic wellness retreat on an island off the English coast, promising rest and relaxation. But the island itself is known locally as Reaper's Rock. Yeah, that sounds like a place I want to go relax at. Has a really dark past. Once the playground of a serial killer, it's rumored to be cursed. But now they can't leave, and they would do anything to escape, and most are here to recharge and refresh, but someone is here for revenge. It's gonna be good. I must be in a thriller mood, because these are like all thrillers. There's some historical fictions, but a lot of thrillers. Oh, here's another historical fiction. We're good. All right, we're gonna redeem myself here. Switchboard Soldiers by Jennifer Shiverini. Have I read any by her? I think maybe one. I need to read more. Let's see. This is a revolutionary novel about one of the great untold stories of World War I, the women amongst the U.S. Army Signal Corps who broke down gender barriers in the military, smashed the workplace glass ceiling, and battled a pandemic as they helped lead the Allies to victory. I'm in. 1917, we have General John Pershing arrives in France to establish American forces in Europe. He immediately found himself unable to communicate with troops in the field. Not surprising. So he needs operators who can swiftly and accurately connect multiple calls, speak fluent French and English, and remain steady under fire and be utterly discreet since the calls often convey classified information. At this time, nearly all well-trained American telephone operators were women, because we're amazing. But women were not permitted to enlist or even vote in most states. Nevertheless, the Army Signal Corps promptly began recruiting them, and more than 7,600 women responded, including Grace Banker from New Jersey, a switchboard instructor with AT&T, and an alumna of Barnard College. We have Marie, who's a French woman inspired to be an opera singer, and Valerie, who is a Pacific telephone operator from Los Angeles. So they come together. They are part of the first women sworn into the U.S. Army under the Articles of War. The male soldiers they had replaced had needed 1 minute to connect each call. The switchboard soldiers could do it in 10 seconds. So, I mean, yeah. The risk of death was real. The women worked as bombs fell around them, as was the threat, as was the Spanish flu, which is just as deadly of a threat. Not all of them would survive. it just sounds fantastic. It is a story I have not read about yet, so I'm all about that one. Next one I want to talk about is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. Again, comes out July 19th. Come home, Vera's mother called, and Vera obeyed. In spite of her long estrangement, in spite of memories, she's come home, back to the home of a serial killer. What is with all the serial killers? This house that he built, and it was her home, back to face the love that she had for her father and the bodies he buried there. So she's the daughter of a serial killer. She never wants to come back to this house again. Her mom calls her home, and she does it. And we go from there. Secrets yet undiscovered in the foundations of the notorious Crowder house. She must face them and find out for herself just how deep the rot goes. Wow. All right, two more. The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda, July 26th. I am a fan of Megan Miranda. I've read a few of her books. I need to read more, but definitely want this one on my shelf. 10 years ago, we have Abigail. She fell into a job she loves, managing the Passage Inn. It's a cozy upscale resort nestled in the North Carolina mountain town of Cutter's Pass. Cutter's Pass is best known for its outdoor offerings, rafting, hiking, access to the Appalachian Trail, gorgeous waterfalls, and it also has a mysterious history. As the book begins, the string of unsolved disappearances that has haunted the town is once again thrust into the spotlight when a journalist, Landon West, who is staying at the inn to investigate the story of the vanishing trail, then disappears himself. And I'm in. I need to know. So there's that one. And then we have one more. And this one is historical fiction. So this one, also July 26th, is The Librarian Spy by Madeline Martin. Ava thought her job as a librarian at the Library of Congress, again, love that concept, would meet a quiet routine existence. But an unexpected offer from the U.S. military has brought her to Lisbon with a new mission, posing as a librarian while working undercover as a spy gathering intelligence. So in occupied France, there's Elaine has begun to apprentice at a printing press run by members of the resistance. It's a job usually reserved for men, but in the war, these rules are forgotten. Yet she knows that the Nazis are searching for the press and its printer in order to silence them. As the Battle of Europe rages, Ava and Elaine find themselves connecting through coded messages and discovering hope in the face of war. That gives me the Book of Lost Names vibes, which I just finished reading and was fantastic and would love to go back into that story and that writing. Probably won't be the same, but it just gave me vibes. So that's a whole list of really awesome books coming out in July. I'm beyond excited for them. I'll have links to them below if you want to check them out. I don't know which one I'm going to pick up. I don't even know. I'm beyond excited for all of them. And obviously in a thriller serial killer mood, apparently, lately. Anyways, are there any books on your list that you want to pick up in July that you're looking at? Comment below, let me know, because, I need more. Otherwise, subscribe, like all that stuff, and we'll see you next time. Bye.